Well, hello everyone. Hello, welcome, welcome to Bob Talk. Clyde, welcome
Yes.
again to Bob
I'm,
Talk.
go- I'm I'm going to log into another one, to another computer laptop, and see what happens.
Okay. Okay, well, everybody, as you can see, Pastor Aubrey is out today, and we are still continuing our talk on resilience, which is why we have brought Clyde back on, because we are going to continue to talk about and discuss more of the ACEs, because he has a lot of information that he can bring on board and give us, and I want to make sure that we get that information, because remember, when it comes to Bob Talk, where it's bearing one another's burdens, and we're not necessarily here to carry your burdens. We're not. I'm not your counselor, but I am here to help walk alongside you while you work on getting all the help, all the things that you need, and maybe even the goal is to give you guidance so that you can get all that you need to be healthy and whole. So that's one of my visions. And so with us bringing Clyde back, he's going to talk a little bit more on, like I said, the ACEs, right? ACEs and resilience, per the request of many of you. We're continuing this conversation. We're going to continue this conversation. So, Clyde, you want to reintroduce yourself to our audience? And then,
Okay. Yes, I do. Okay, that's much better than what we were doing before. So I just switched computers. So again, good afternoon, everyone, and happy New Year for those I haven't seen or talked to or know that you're present with us today. My name is Clyde Miller. I'm the coalition coordinator for the HEAL Coalition in Phoenix, Arizona, which stands for Helping Rich African American Lives. And basically, what we do, our overall work is working with youth 12 to 17 years of age and educating them and providing them with means to cope with, giving them coping strategies to deal with the misuse of substances, including alcohol, marijuana, prescription drugs, meth, fentanyl, and a host of tobacco. Did I say tobacco? Tobacco, and also how to deal with suicide. So I'm very happy to be here.
yep. So as y'all can see, Clyde has a whole list of things that he's trained in, and he's a an open book, informational book, to be able to help us get the things that we need. And he's doing the work in the community. He's actually doing the work in the community to make sure that you get what you need. So, Clyde, today we're going to be talking more. You said about the ACEs.
Now we were going to talk about the ACEs with regard to resilience,
Resilience.
and
Yes.
the ACEs stands for Adverse Childhood Experiences. And this is one of their modules that they have. It's module number 2, and it deals specifically with resilience, what it is, and how to return from how to develop resilient habits, how to become resilient. It looks at it from the standpoint of adults and from young people. So you have different views from that. And then, of course, I have my own little say in there too, also. So this is something that we actually go out and facilitate workshops on this through the ACES Consortium. Our funding comes from several sources. Mainly, this is through the Access Grant that we have, the substance abuse block grant, and actually, and it's funny, but the ACES training provided by the ACES Consortium is constantly being updated. So I just got recertified again this past December, and I've had the opportunity to do the whole entire module, which normally lasts about from 3 to 4 hours each, the whole session. And of course, I've had the opportunity to share here with our peoples the some of the module and certain parts of it. So I'm very happy to stand here today to talk about resilience.
So let me throw this in here a little bit. Throw
Okay.
kind of stirred up. When he say resilient, what he's saying is a lot of us have been through some things. We've had some trauma. We've experienced things, but we don't have to live in that place. We don't have to continue to walk in the same lane, the same space that we did when we were traumatized. We don't have to respond and react in the same way, meaning I survived and this is how I survived all my life. And so I'm continuing to survive that way. No, we don't have to continue to survive that way. So I want you guys to take heed to some of the things that he's getting ready to share, and just let's walk in our resilience. So, all right,
Okay.
Clyde.
So let's get started. So let's just say that resilience is just your ability to be able to bounce back, getting through tough times, recovering from a bad experience, or coming through a transformative experience that takes you to the next level, that helps you get over the trauma which you have experienced in the past. Resilience can mean different things to different people, and I'm going to read to you um, what a 15-year-old high school student named Sean said resilience is in his own terms, his own words. He says that the resilience is about bouncing back from problems and stuff with more power and more smarts.
That came from a 15-year-old.
That came from a 15-year-old.
Okay,
And
I'm gonna have to I'm gonna write that down because I like that.
okay, so I will say it again. It's about bouncing back from problems and stuff.
And
Don't forget the stuff.
okay, bouncing back from problems and
Problems
stuff.
and
Now,
stuff.
everybody, so y'all grab a pen and paper, write this down. This is good. Bouncing back from
So
problems and stuff. It's
problems and stuff with more power and more smarts. So it takes it to mean that you're supposed to learn something from your past experiences, or whenever you have situations that either cause you problem, or plain and simple when you have problems.
okay.
Those problems can be big, they can be small, as we've already talked about. That the same type of problem, because we all have certain problems that we all share. We all have to pay bills. We all have some sort of relationship. We all have, I think, as I said before, my very first time, we've all seen a car accident. You either heard it or you've been in it, and you've all had some sort of problem. Or my insurance goes up. You know, I'm getting sued. Whatever. But how you deal with that problem and how you bounce back from it, as as Sean has said, is very important. Okay,
Okay. He said you got to come back smarter. Basically, learn from what you've gone through.
gone through.
And that
Yep.
came from a 15-year-old, y'all. So some of y'all grown folk, we got to learn from what we've been through. Go ahead.
So sometimes when we think about our own resilience, you want to, well, how do I do that? What do I do? And everything is a little bit different for everybody, and that's the key thing there. So one size does not fit all. So one of the things you can do is look at, where do you get your strength? Where does your strength come from? What makes you stronger? What makes you positive? You can do it in a number of ways. One of my ways for myself and that I get my strength, one, is my faith in God. That's the first place it comes from. The second place I get it from is my wife. Unfortunately for me, I married a very intelligent young lady. I'm kind of slow a lot of times. I forget stuff, but hey, I'm thankful for my wife, and to show you how much that has changed me, y'all. This is a statement that I used to say long, or used to think long time ago. I used to think that a wife was no more than a professional girlfriend.
Oh.
Do you want I want me to say it again, Katrina? Yes, I own up to it. I thought a wife was no more than a professional girlfriend.
Oh,
However, I have learned, like Sean said, from my experiences and my situations with my wife. So I'm thankful for that. So she's one of my strengths. Whether she knows or not, she is one of my strengths. Another source of my strength are my family and my friends and my peoples. And that's everybody.
okay.
So you can learn something from anybody on the street.
You
Anybody.
And I like that. You know, the truth of the matter is, as a counselor, one of the things that we're always assessing, because we're not supposed to be, in our clients' lives for a long time. So we want to know, what are their supports? And you just identified the supports. That's what makes you resilient, right? So
Yep.
your wife, your family, your friends. I love it. I love
Okay.
it.
And then if we can we get just a little bit of feedback from the audience? Think about it, or place in the chat or whatever. See, I'm so used to chat, being on Zoom and all them other things all the time. Just placing there, I'd like to be interested in seeing what you use to bounce back from certain things
All
when
right.
you have
So
problems and problems.
our Bob Talk audience, we want to know, what are some of your strengths or some of your supports? What helps you to bounce back? In other words, go ahead and put that in the chat. We'll give you a second here to put that in the chat, right? My kids, while we're waiting on, some responses, my kids are, I would say, like my why. Well, not my kids as much anymore, but the grandkids
Mm-hmm.
are coming in and taking the spaces of my. So like when I'm feeling down, I've had a heavy day. I might call just to see my grandkids' face and hear them say, "Honey,"
Okay, I
right?
got
So that could be
you. Yep.
one.
Yep. One of the other things I do is sometimes I make up acronyms and little sayings for myself, or do certain things when I do certain activities. So, like when I cook, I like to talk to myself. I'll pull some out there and say, "Ooh, boy, you really cooked that chicken just now," and so that makes me feel better. Even if I had a rough day, I do know when I cook something, it's gonna be great. Another thing I do, so like this year, I always try to make up a word for myself or a saying. And so this year, my words or phrase for me this is, when I do what I do. No, let me see. I do what I do when I do what I do, because when I do what I do what I do. So that's my saying for the year, and that lets me know everything is okay or whatever. And I also made up one just for this thing. I just came up with it last night, and it's life. And life stands for one or two things: learning information for every day, or learned information from experiences.
Learning information for every day,
Every day,
or
or learned information from experiences. One is talking about the present, the other one is how you use things from the past to get to where you are today.
okay, okay, that's a good one. I like that. I
Yeah.
like that. We looks like
Now,
we got some responses, right? So Erica said faith, support group, and affirmations, right? And in case we're wondering what affirmations are, Clyde just gave one of the how he affirms himself when he cooking. Like, "Ooh, boy, you sure cooked this chicken," right? Then Carolyn, she said, being on the prayer line every day, 3 times a day. See, and that's her. She's identified. That's her support system. She has a support system with the prayer line and those that she prays with every day, not just once a day, but 3 times a day. So I like that.
okay, okay. So let's keep them responses coming in. I actually thought I could see him, but I can't. So that's even better now. I'm feeling kind of bad. But anyway, I'm good now. So I bounced back from that experience. So just keep on pushing forward. Other ways you want to ask yourself is, what do you do to take care of yourself?
Okay.
How do you relax? How do you get over when something has gone wrong, or you've had a bad day at work, or find yourself in a bad situation that may come up? What do you do to take care of yourself? When we take our uh, ACEs training module, you'll learn that there's two different things between self care and self regulation. And so I'm gonna leave it at that so that you can sign up for whenever we get ready to offer the ACEs, Katrina. They can come get that question answered, or get
Okay.
that could be their homework to find out what it is and share it when we get to that point in the module. So, what do you do to take care of yourself? Again, let's get a little bit of feedback from the audience if they want to share what they do to take care of themselves. Me, myself, and I like to read. Uh, I have just a lot of hobbies I do. I like to collect coins, look at my coins sometimes. That gives me some peace. Reading, I also build models. That was something that I used to do as a young, as a young man, many moons ago, many years ago, and I just started that back since I moved out here to Arizona. The only thing that really slows me down with them is that I have no place to put them, my completed models. But I do have some that I have on display in my back room office. So those are some of the main things that I like to do. And of course, I like to go swimming. Um, I just really the only thing I know I'm not consistent with it, but I do know that that does relax me and gives me the opportunity to expand my mind and plus get some exercise and plus to chill out while I'm swimming. Because the only thing I can hear while I'm swimming is myself going through the water and stuff.
Okay.
That's it. So that calms me down.
Okay. Yeah. Self care is a big one for me. Mondays are my self care days, and I don't want to do nothing on Mondays. Um, massage. Well, I have my massages, so I do that. And then I've tried. I don't know if you've tried the True Rest, like float spas. Those are good. It's like just
Hmm.
floating, um, Epsom salt, and then um, I played the game. My game is like mindless game, like where you do nothing. I just it's color
Hmm.
matching, mindless, mindless playing. But I gave that up during this period of consecration. So I have to. I'm watching myself. I'm watching TV, and then I have to grab my like go to play my game, and then I have to put it down. So I'm trying to be present
Hmm. I
in,
got you.
in
Yeah.
the
I see a good friend of mine, Miss Brown, Gwendolyn Our Brown, has placed in the chat. She said, it must be a God thing. But think time with family, daily prayer, and conversating with God, daily reading, and a glass of wine. It
There you
all
go.
works out for her. That's how she builds her resilience. Now, I have another question for you. Okay, and Erica says write poetry, exercise, and sing. Okay, those are three good ways to build resilience and overcome, take your mind off of your problems and your stress or the trauma you may experience. Now, I have a question for our group. Do you think that you can build resilience in children?
Yeah. Well,
Yes, you can. Yeah, you can. That's true.
yeah. Well, I didn't want to answer. I'm a professional,
No
right?
problem.
I work with
Yeah,
kids,
yeah.
but
Well, you can, and some of the ways you can do that, and students themselves have said, and then as a source, I'm gonna use the Arizona Youth Survey, and a lot of kids say if they had a supportive mentor or adult in their life, that makes all the difference in the world for them. So if they have any kind of type of relationship, positive relationship, we will just shorten it to a positive relationship with an adult in their life. That makes all the difference in the world.
and
Also, oh, go ahead.
I'm glad you said. I'm glad that came from a kid. I actually heard one of my facilitators years ago tell me they said every kid just needs one person to believe in them. One is all it takes,
Yep.
and they can accomplish great things in their lives.
And then some other things they need, because sometimes kids, uh, I know sometimes they like to think they know everything or whatever. However, but they do say that sometimes if they can have the opportunity to practice and to also get more strength in core life skills, executive function skills, communication skills, you know, how to um, how to learn, even how to study can help. Those are all skills that young people need, and we can definitely help them do that through our own experience and things of that nature. So those are some of the things that we do know that young people have said that they would like to know how to build resilience and what it takes to help them.
Yeah. Look, so we're still getting responses in here. Sharon said, I read, she crochets. She's recently started roller skating. I like
Roller
that.
skating,
Okay.
okay.
That's
Hmm.
exciting. That's exercise too.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yep. And
Now I
then,
do have a question for you. At the skating rink
mhm.
or at home? No, I'm asking Sharon. I want to she can
Oh,
read that later. that's off jet. Go ahead.
But now, what did you say now? Look at that.
I was gonna ask her, is that, are you roller skating like in the park at home in your area, or are you going to the skating rink and like, roll bounce? Roll bounce, right? No. So just go ahead, Clyde. Sorry.
Okay, so the other ways you can build resilience, and this applies to either both children and adults, is one thing is affirming your faith, which some of us have shared today and talked about, or even your cultural traditions. Knowing your sense of it can even be something as knowing the history of your family. Having sense of worth, knowing your history period about anything, certain time, knowing um, knowing your own culture, to your own cultural traditions. One of the things I used to say all the time when I first got here was that my people out here are not the same as my people back east, and vice versa. People from down south are not the same as people from anywhere else. Everyone has their own different traditions. They say things a different way. They look at this. They can look at the same issue. Or I'll give you an example. Soda. What do you call the soda? You can go one part of the country and they call it pop. Some people call it exactly by its name. One's a Pepsi, one's a Coke. No matter what you hold in your hand, it is what it is. When you go down south, they'll call it completely something different.
Soda water.
Yep, soda water. Yeah,
Soda water.
about the only thing that everyone can agree on is red, and everybody know what red is. Kool Aid, red Kool Aid. What's the flavor?
I'm sorry, Kool-Aid was
You
Kool-Aid.
didn't know that? Huh?
No, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah,
I
I
didn't
know
know.
red.
And so, see, that's not everybody. See, you just
But
showed
see, you
there
just
is a
one
difference
person.
in
That's
culture.
fine. That's fine. That's fine.
That's what.
That's
See,
cool.
look. So
That's cool.
Gwen said Big Red.
Yep.
That's where my mind went when you said Big Red. It didn't go to no Kool Aid.
Kool Aid, yeah, red mean Kool Aid.
Two different things,
Okay.
and two different
And
parts of the
then,
country too.
okay. And then, but one of the main things to help you build resilience is that you want to do it in a place where you have a safe space.
Yes, yes.
That's one of the
That
main things.
that is so key. When you asked a question about kids earlier, we are, and I think I may have said this before. We are not going to, like, for instance, I do EMDR, and if a kid is in, say, like a group home or something like that, I'm not going to start working with them on their trauma if they don't have a safe space or a safe person to be around them when they start opening up and when we start opening up the doors of healing their trauma.
Damn.
So the safe space is so important.
Yep. Another thing to help you build resilience is your community. What is your community that you're in? I was very fortunate growing up that I knew when I walked outside on my porch as a little boy, I could see men going to work every day. I could see people, coming by. I knew so and so would come by the house every day on their way to go catch the bus or going back home at the end of the day. All of the young people that I grew up with, we don't call ourselves friends and stuff. We call each other brothers and sisters. So I have a very large extended family and stuff. Majority of my mother and father friends, we call them aunts and uncles. That's it. That's the only name I know from. Some of them, I still don't know their last name to this day and stuff. But I know that's Uncle so and so, and that's Aunt so and so.
Now that's something I can agree with you on. That's across, maybe across cultures from your part of
Yeah.
the country to mine, because I know a lot of my mom's first cousins and stuff like that. They're auntie and uncle to me,
Yep.
right? It's not cuz like they're my cousin or calling them by their first name. It's auntie and uncle. And my husband actually just responded. He said, I build resilience from listening to podcasts, audiobooks, and connecting with my boys. He left off giving my wife orders, and just like that. You know? But but
I
yeah.
wouldn't dare try that.
Oh, he tries. He definitely tries. But I love the way that he connects with the boys. they like not just the young one, like the adult, our adult boys. So he reconnects with them and he's helping guide them through their life. So walking alongside them in life to this
Now,
day.
one other thing that I think that helps me being resilient, actually, two things I would like to share. One is the fact that I try to keep in touch with everybody I know. It's often off, and and it's easy for me to do this because what I found this out to do with Zoom and with Hotmail and all those other little things, all these conveniences. There's no such thing as a long distance phone call anymore. There was a time where I like had to ask my mother if I could call so and so. All that stuff is gone and over with. So you take advantage of the technology. And so what I do is I set aside a specific day of the week and I call at least three people within this certain group that I want to call for that day. The only
Okay.
day that's set in stone is Wednesday. I try to call at least three of my fraternity brothers. Friday, that's my family day. I call
Okay.
these three members in my family, either out here in Phoenix or back east. And it goes from anyone from the seniors all the way down to the little small ones, if they have a phone. Or I call them and ask to speak to them. And oftentimes I just say, hey, how you doing? This Uncle Clyde or this your brother or whatever. And that's it. So that's one way that I do. I try to stay in touch with people because people are so important to me and for me to know how they're doing. And then one of the other ways that I try to build myself resilient and learn how to do it was I learned how to be patient. It seemed like once I started practicing patience, everything just went out the window. No more problems. I understood how to get through things. I was able to see clearly and able to work my way through any type of situation that came up. And I practice that in almost everything I do. When I cook, I don't rush. When I was in culinary school, I was always the last person putting their dish on for display or up to the table. So if I had to go on one of them chef shows, they'll kick me off because I'll never finish. I would never finish because I try to practice patience as much as I could. It helps you not become angry with people as much. It helps you look at different situations, and eventually, most times, if you're patient with anything, the answer will come to you, no matter what power you believe in or what you think. The answer will come to you if you're patient enough to wait on it. So that was mine, and it's 3:30.
Already, already. It goes by so fast, doesn't it, Clyde?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming on today. It looks like we have reached our end of our time, but Clyde has given us a lot of information to walk away from here today. And you guys have all been a part of sharing and helping people build resilience. So connection was one of the main things that I heard. And Carolyn, so Carolyn put on here, stay in touch with my accountability partner support team. She goes to Bob Talk. So Bob Talk has become a part of her support in her substance abuse class that she's getting out of right now. So see, she was in her substance abuse class, I guess, listening to us a little bit too. So, but yes, thank you, thank you, thank you, you guys. Connection is important. That's what I heard from Clyde today.
Hmm.
I heard that connection is important. Finding something to do, finding something that pleases you, and even like, here's the thing: if you don't have nothing to do, try different things. Sharon identified that she's getting back into skating, and when I asked the question, she answered it. So she said she's just skating at home. She haven't even got back into the public yet, but she's doing it. You guys, I don't think there's anything more we can say than actually take action, get up, move around, connect with people. We were not meant to live in isolation, which is why we came up with Bob Talk, right? So that we were not isolated. You were not isolated. You didn't feel like you were alone in the world. Especially because we started this in during COVID when we were all forced to be isolated, but we
Yeah.
were not isolated. We were still able to connect through this. this venue here. So I encourage you guys to, if you don't have nothing for yourselves, take a list from some of our viewers here. Like, take some ideas, crochet, read a book, skate. Be careful. Don't tell nobody I told y'all to skate, because I'm not responsible for nothing that happens. I will pray for you, but get active. And we will, we're actually going to see y'all back here next week, same time, same place. And we will have someone on here sharing their story of resilience. So, Clyde, would you close us in prayer?
Yes, yes, I will. We're more than happy to. Let us look to the Lord. Father God in heaven, how we thank you for this day, dear Lord, and for the ability to learn how we can use the gift that you have given us, dear Lord, to be able to overcome any type of situation or whatever obstacles we may face in our lives. Now, dear Lord, that we ask you that you bless each and every person within the sound of my voice, dear Lord. Give them a great day today and an even better day tomorrow. These and all of these and all of blessings we ask in the Master's name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.